Welcome to my channel. This is an indication of some of the things that I cover on a regular basis in my videos. If you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to do so, and don't forget to click the little bell so that you'll get notified of future videos. Please feel free to share my videos on your social media, and I hope you enjoy the video which follows. Well, good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, June 8th, as I'm starting to put some clips together for video that will come out later on this week. We had a very wet weekend. Not a lot of rain really, but it was showers and things off and on. We didn't get a great deal of accumulation, but I guess that always helps the garden. And we have the promise of a mostly sunny week. Kind of a cool start to the morning today, though. It went down to 8 degrees last night. I think it's up to 14 now. This we're looking at is my pumpkin sweet apple tree, which this year, barring something strange happening, looks like it's going to have a great crop of apples. The apples are just in bloom here. I don't know if you saw some of those birds that are flying in at the top. Those are the cedar waxwings. I know I'd never stand a chance of getting a close-up of one, but I'll try my best here. They arrive here every year just as the apple trees bloom. You may or may not be seeing one in there. No. Well, yes, I guess I can still see one on the top branch, the one that's going out furthest to the right there. But they arrive and eat the petals off of the apple blossoms. Doesn't do any damage. The tree's always loaded with apples, but they like to eat the petals off the apple blossoms. If you can see in that wind, which you probably can hear the wind noise as well, some of the petals are starting to drop. It's been in bloom now for 5 or 6 days. Out at the garden now, just take a quick look at my red flowering horse chestnut. It's beautiful this year. The hummingbirds have been working it. One day when I was out here late last week, there was one doing this curious thing that they do. They sort of swoop in an arc. It was going, well, practically from where I'm standing. It would swoop over here, then it would swoop back to the chestnut tree. I don't know what that's supposed to prove. I think he was all alone, or she was all alone. I didn't see any other hummingbirds around. But it must have done that a dozen times while I stood here and watched it. If you remember, I grew several chestnut trees from the chestnuts off of that tree and gave them away last year. I don't know how many, 7 or 8 or something like that. Anyway, one of the ladies that got one was talking to me, and hers came through the winter beautifully and is growing very nicely, so hopefully I'm spreading the red chestnut tree around the island here. Standing under the chestnut tree now, and I'm sure probably the microphone doesn't pick it up, but I can hear the bees working it. They're flying everywhere. Should be another good year for chestnuts, I guess. It's a shame they're not edible. Well, I had to show you this. My little seed-grown strawberry plants, which still are not very large. That one is in the center, and there's a circle of other ones out around it. Probably the largest one there, but it's got a blossom on it. And there's a couple of more blossom buds behind that one that haven't opened yet. This one, that's even smaller, has sent out a runner. I can get over there. This is attached to it. It's the only runner that I see, but you can't get over that that's happening with plants that are that small. Once it starts to send out some roots from the runner, I'm going to put a little pot of growing mix there and put the runner on it and start it as another seedling. Before I go any further, I guess I better mention, in case there's somebody locally here watching my videos waiting for my plant sale, I've decided not to do it. I'm still having squash plants disappear. A second one disappeared, and I've had another one that I had to replace because of the bad attack from slugs. Some of what I've got left over I wouldn't sell. It doesn't look that great anyway, so I've been giving it away to friends and hanging on to what I think I might need to replenish what the critters are destroying. Well, I show this every year. I know, if you're watching my videos, you're probably bored of seeing it, but I love the thing. It's a big azalea, a deciduous rhododendron, an azalea, and it's got to be 10 feet tall there now, I guess. And the fragrance you can smell probably 100 feet away. I think it's called Pink Lights or Rosy Lights, one or the other. It's in the Northern Lights series of azaleas. Extremely hardy, as you can see. It's been there for many years. To me, it smells like carnations, and carnations always remind me of cinnamon, so that gives you some idea of the fragrance, but you can smell it from a long distance. I'm waiting for my Richters order to arrive. This is Wednesday. It was shipped on Monday, and they say it'll be here by tomorrow, Thursday. Well, Canada Post is very slow right now because of everybody ordering so much online, like I'm ordering online all the time due to the pandemic type thing, but hopefully I'll have them by at least Friday, because we don't have any mail service on Saturday or Sunday here. So I'm going to hold this video anyway until the Richters order comes and show the unpacking of the Richters order. I just love the way they package things. This is a rhododendron, and I no longer know the variety. I just refer to it as a raspberry color, whatever. I love the thing, and I think that's probably the most blossoms it's ever had. It's in quite a shady area, which rhododendrons will do well in, but they grow slowly. I don't know how many years that's been there, 15 maybe. And it's only 4 feet tall, I guess, but loaded this year with large blossom clusters. Well, good morning again, everybody. It's Friday, June the 12th, and my Richters order that was supposed to arrive yesterday did not. Not their fault. It's whatever Canada Post is up to during the pandemic. I guess they're dealing with a lot of extra packages and whatever. I'm concerned if it doesn't arrive today, it'll go over the weekend, and that'll be a full week of the plants in the dark. So what might happen, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be delivered this afternoon. I'm in the greenhouse just doing some weeding. That is one of my coal tomatoes, one of the tinier ones, and it has a tomato on it. There's another plant with a tomato, and this morning there are several more in bloom, so the coals are doing quite well. Over here, what looks like a mess, that is mostly mint. There's also sage and chives and garlic chives there, and I transplanted the plant of dill that was going to be in the way. That's in the middle of it. People always complain about mint being invasive. Well, it is, but it's also very easy to control. When the Richters order comes, there are several plants that are going right in that area. I won't pull it all up, but I'll probably pull 90% of it up, and it doesn't hurt it at all by pulling it up, and the part that you leave just continues to grow more roots and tries to come up from the roots somewhere else. I just don't find it that difficult to deal with at all. I have two varieties, apple mint and the Moroccan mint. Can't say as I use the apple mint very much, but the Moroccan mint is used in making that wonderful North African style tea, black tea boiled, and then once it's boiled for a while you take it off the heat and add a big bunch of the Moroccan mint and let it steep for a few minutes before you strain it. Absolutely addictive, so I have to have my Moroccan mint. The European gherkins that I transplanted in here are all doing very well. They're nicely established now and putting on extra leaves. No signs of any blossoms yet, but I think I've probably said a dozen times in my back videos here that these are what they call parthenocarpic. All female blossoms, don't need anything to cross-pollinate with them to produce a cucumber, and every blossom produces a cucumber. So once they get going, there'll be more than I can handle. The beets that were transplanted in here the same time as the cucumbers, the gherkins, are also developing nicely. I'm not so sure that the description on the package is going to happen. They're supposed to be a small variety anyway, like golf ball size. If you left them longer, if they grow to a larger beet, I don't know. But they're supposed to be ready in 35 to 40 days. And, well, I'm a bit skeptical of that, but I'm looking forward to trying them. They're also supposed to be great for beet greens, and I like beet greens probably as much as I do the beets. So we'll see what happens in a few weeks' time, I guess. That's the golden chard. I had originally put 4 plants, and they're doing very well. They're probably more than doubled in size since I transplanted them. And yesterday I added a 5th plant in the center. I thought there's probably room for 5 there. Very pleased with the beans so far. The ones closest to the camera, the first 2 rows, are green beans. Yorkshire Hero, I think they're called. And the ones further in the back are a yellow wax bean. The wax beans have been slower coming up, but there's a good showing of them there this morning. And I don't see anywhere where a cutworm or anything, but then this is all that pro-mix soil, so the cutworms would have to move into it. They wouldn't have already been there. Very pleased with the Butter Crunch lettuce. It doesn't really form a tight head like iceberg or whatever. It's a loosely held together head, and they aren't really heading up that much yet, but I'm going to start using it. They're plenty big enough that I could thin them out by taking every other plant and have some good lettuce to use, and I've been amazed. There is a bit of slug damage, but I thought for sure the slugs and the rabbits would devour them. Next to it is, if you remember, I think it might even have been my last video, I showed my asparagus bed that was overgrown with weeds and, worst of all, tansy. Takes over the world here. I got 1 meal out of the asparagus that it produced this year, so most of the plants had been strangled to death by weeds and tansy. I cut it all down to ground level, put a heavy layer of cardboard on top. 3 of my wheelbarrow loads of composted chicken manure, some of which is fairly fresh, so I'm a little concerned about that. And then the last bale of the organic pro-mix on top of that. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to plant in it yet. The car ferry to the Canadian mainland via Deer Island, the next island over, is due to start next Monday, and I have a trip planned for Tuesday. Angel has to go to her vet for her annual inoculations. And there's a lovely greenhouse facility called Canada Green, not too far from the car ferry landing on the New Brunswick land, so I'll go there and see what I can get. I've already contacted them. I know that I can get some gooseberry bushes. I've been trying to get gooseberry bushes all spring, and I've ordered them for 2 different places, and both of them canceled my order, but they assure me they have a good supply of them. And I don't know, I may get more strawberries and put in that or something. I don't want to put a lot of money into it because I'm wondering whether or not it will survive that layer of manure down below, some of which is not really composted. But give it a try and see what happens, and next year at least I'll have another bed to plant in. I don't think I will try asparagus again. It takes about 3 years before you can use it, and I just don't have the space to dedicate to it, I guess. Well, good morning once again. It is now Monday, June 15th, and my Richters order is out for delivery, finally. It has been in the dark in a box for a solid week. It left Ontario a week ago today, so I don't know. We'll see what we see when I open it up, I guess, as soon as it arrives. I thought in the meantime I might show you what's going on with the 1-year-old seedling trees that I bought earlier. And potted them up in these, probably 1 gallon, I guess they are, grow bags. As you can see, this is the Burr Oak, and it is probably doing, well, some of the other ones are doing pretty good, but I think this is probably doing the best of any of them, and mainly because it leaved out very early. It must be a variety that does that anyway. This is the honey locust, which is just starting to send out its leaves. For a long while there, I thought it wasn't going to, but it's got some good bunches of leaves coming there, so I'm sure it will grow some nice stems in that area anyway. And this is Eastern Redbud. It also is very slow, but it has sending out some leaves, and each one of those places where there are leaves will grow some sort of a short stem branch this summer. This is black locust, another one of the locust trees, but it's been leaved out for quite a while, much faster to come out than the honey locust was. No thorns there yet, but I expect to see big thorns on it sometime this summer. This is hackberry, and it's doing very well. So all 5 of the ones that I brought in that were very dormant, I'm sure they've been in cold storage all winter, all 5 of them have leaved out and are growing. So if I kill them from now on, it's my fault, not the people that I bought them from. Last but not least, this is the chestnut that I started myself last year from chestnuts that I ordered online. They were supposed to be American chestnuts. Well, they came from China, so I suspect what I have is the Asian chestnut, but nevertheless it's an edible variety, and I know they do survive in the area. A good friend of mine who is no longer with us, Dr. Radcliffe Pike, on his large property over in Lubac, Maine, there are Asian chestnut trees that he planted. It's a incredible property. If you keep it's now part of a park, I think, or a conservation area anyway. Anyway, you keep walking on that land, you find some very interesting things. He was a professor of botany at the University of New Hampshire, and originally from Lubac, retired and spent his latter years in Lubac. But I'm sure that the Asian chestnut will grow in the area, so we'll see what happens. I have 4 of them, and I'm showing you the best example, but all 4 of them have leaved out and survived the winter. And I probably have said before, but my plans are to grow these on in these bags this season. In the fall, I will heel the bags in, partially bury them up to here or so, in the hoop house, and leave them in there over the winter. And bring them out next spring, and once they've leaved out next spring, I will select places to plant them out. A couple of years in this size bag is about as much as you should do. It'll start to get very root bound. Well, here goes nothing. It was just delivered, 2 p.m. Let's see what's in here. Fingers crossed. Whatever shape they're in, it isn't going to be Richter's fault, not in my opinion anyway. Unless they do something different this time. They've always packed these things so well. It's the best part of getting an order from them. It amazes me how well they're packaged. But the shipping time has not been good. Oh no, don't like what I see already. Dead plants. Oh dear. Not good. Some of the things will be okay. I mean, these are lavender. They don't appear to have been gone too far. But I think I'm looking at basil. It's unrecognizable. Yeah, Genovese basils. Not even recognizable as a plant. They pack very well, just that I can never get things out. I'll show you one of those. Then I'll unpack everything and show you what I got. That is a basil plant. I didn't expect anything any different, really. It's been in a box in the dark for a week. I don't know. I won't throw them out. I'll wait and see what happens to them. But I'll show you the order once I get it unpacked, I guess. Before I show you the damage, I thought I'd at least show you one of the little modules that they pack them in. I've never had plants come so well packed. These are damaged, but they're damaged because Canada Post took 7 or 8 days to deliver them. They guaranteed delivery last Thursday, and this is Monday afternoon, so that's where the damage occurred at. But the plants each have this cardboard around. This is a flat of English lavender, most of which are going to survive. I see a couple. I had a dozen plants altogether. I see a couple that I'm a bit worried about. Then they have that stapled around them. I mean, there's no way the plant can get hurt, no matter how badly Canada Post throws it around. They're so securely fastened in and packed so tightly in the box. But most of the lavender, I mean, it's got some dead leaves on it, but the new growth is still looking good on most of them. I've got a couple that I'm a bit concerned about, but they're okay. I'll show you now some of the other plants and what they look like. Well, this is a hollyhock, and I've picked a lot of the dead stuff off of it already. If I nurse that along, it'll probably return to life, I guess. I don't know whether Richters will refund money or if they have it insured and shipping or not. And this is a purple foxglove. I've taken some of the dead stuff away, but I think it's fairly alive, but it seems to be flopping around quite loose in the pot, so I don't know what might have happened down at pot level, ground level. As I said, the lavenders look pretty good. I had chili peppers and chives. Chives are quite resilient. I think they will come back. I've got 3 of those. And this is probably the worst looking of the... This is a cayenne pepper chili plant. How much are you able to see? I'm trying to look at the... Yeah, I guess you can see that. It's lost most of its leaves, but there are new leaves coming at these little nodes. So I think it will come back. It's poor little thing also got blossom buds on top. I don't know what will happen to them. And this is a Japanese eggplant, and it looks fairly good. It doesn't seem to have minded being in the dark for the better part of 8 days. Things over here isn't going to help any. This is a Bishop's Crown chili pepper, and it's, it's bent up. It's also got blossom buds on the top of it, but I think I can salvage that. And I have 2 jalapenos, I guess. That's one of them. I think the peppers will all make it. I guess that's basically what I'm saying about peppers. Now these, it's just 2 marigolds. A lemon gem marigold and an orange gem marigold. I wanted to plant them inside the greenhouse, just inside of the door. I'll leave the door open all day and hoping that would attract pollinators to go inside and pollinate, well, I guess peppers and tomatoes are about the only thing in there that I'd be concerned about getting pollinated. Won't be working with those. And this is Genovese basil. I'm trying to smash up my peppers at the same time here. I don't know. That one there, I don't think there's a hope of that coming back. This one does seem to have some little bits of green at the top, and this one's got some right way down, but I doubt it. Anyway, I will photograph the stuff that didn't look too hot and send it off in an email to Richters and see what they do. Once again, I'm not mean-mouthing Richters, it's Canada Post. I just love ordering things from Richters. They're so dependable and they pack things so well, but this was supposed to be delivered last Thursday, and if it had been delivered last Thursday, it would have been in excellent shape. Well, this video has gone on forever. Thank you very much for watching. I will get this uploaded for this week's video.